Is there a shift happening in the Delray Beach real estate market? Today I share fundamental information that's happening right now. Hi, I'm John Whelan, otherwise known as Mr. Downtown Delray. Welcome back to my How's the Delray Beach Real Estate Market Update for August. Today I've got three charts on my mind: median price, active listings, and months of supply. But first, home sellers are having a difficult time in this real estate market. Why? Because look at the days on market. As you can see in this chart, days on market for the last month hovered at 96 days. And over last year, it averaged right in the mid 80s. Historically here in South Florida, it's averaged in the 60s. So why all the problems? Number one, sellers are still pricing their properties too aggressive, too high, and guess what? Buyers aren't biting. And I've been writing about this in my weekly newsletter all year. As a matter of fact, for the last 4 years, it comes out every Wednesday morning. If you'd like to be a part of my database and get my weekly e-letter, there's no charge. It's free. The link is down below. Just fill out your email information and I'll get it to you right away. So let's dive right in by taking a look at the median price. But before we do that, I want to give you some perspective of what's happened over the last 10 or 15 years. Take a look at this first chart. As you can see, going back to 2010, the median price back then was $100,000. And since then, it's up over 300%. But as you can see in late 2022, that number has flatlined right around $400,000. So now let's zoom in and take a look at that. We're now looking at all property categories, which are single-family homes, condos, as well as townhomes throughout Delray Beach. And as you can see on this chart, for the last 3 years, the median price is stuck at $400,000. This is critical information for home sellers. Why? Because the general public thinks that this real estate market in 2025 is still red hot and prices are going up. Well, guess what? You're now informed that they are. But let's dig deeper into this. Now I want to look at just the condos and townhomes for all of Greater Delray Beach. Look at the next chart. As you can see, it's hovering around $250,000 for the median price. That's actually down slightly from September 2022, which is about 3 years ago. Now remember, this is all of Delray Beach. So out west, we have more retiree, 55 plus communities. On the east side, we have more downtown Delray Beach. And speaking of that, I just completed my downtown Delray Beach distinctive guide for condos and townhomes. If you're thinking about buying your townhome or condo in downtown Delray, grab it. The link's below. Now let's look at active supply, which might become the biggest piece of news in Delray Beach real estate in 2025. Why? At the beginning of the video, I said that there might be a shift happening. These next two charts show that. Let's start. You can see supply bottomed back in January 2022 at 653 units, but since then it soared until this April at 2,200 units. That's an increase of over 237%. But now look at the next chart, which looks a little bit more dramatic because it's only taking into account the last 12 months. You can see supply over this last year, supply turned south since April and is now down 10% in just the last couple of months. We're talking 3.5 months of data and we're already down 10%. Now this is the news that home sellers, those who want to list their house, have been waiting for the last 3 years. Why? Because more supply puts downward pressure on price. And right now in the state of Florida, we're having the highest amount of supply in recorded history. So that does not bode well for home sellers. So we're going to keep a close eye on this specific graph over the next 3 months, because this now we're going into the deep buying season, which is when sellers get nervous because there's less demand. No one's coming to Florida because of all the hurricanes. So the next 3 months are critical, but we'll get better picture starting in November. Now that brings me to the months of supply chart. And for those of you who don't remember, months of supply is the indicator that determines whether it's a seller's or a buyer's market. By definition, if months of supply is under 6 months, it's traditionally a seller's market, like the pandemic. If it's over 6 months, it's a buyer's market, like it is today. Let's look at the charts. This first chart, you can see back in September 2022, month supply was a measly 3.1 months. That's when it was a massive seller's market. Sellers were getting the price they wanted and everything that they wanted without negotiating. Then in December 2023, it broke the 6-month level and began a buyer's market. So now let's look at the months of supply chart. It peaked, as you can see, at 8.5 months But since April, which is also when the supply changed, I showed you just a bit ago, It's been falling and now it's at 7.85 months. Again, this is something to watch over the next 90 days because that's when we get through the low selling season, the hurricane season, and in 90 days, November 1st, that's when high season kicks in again. Now, I can't leave you hanging. Every month I give you a bonus chart. Now, this one is going to be the overall Delray Beach data that you can scour at your will, but let's take a look at this individual chart. You can see that the last month down below in the median sold price was down 8.75% this July over July 2024. That's a massive drop. Now look at the year over year to the right, and you can see that the median price is stuck and is flat, 0% at $390,000. What does this tell me? That I see that on the month over month, when we're seeing big drops like that, it's going to pull the overall year over year number down. So unless something drastically changes in August, I anticipate when I come back a month from now that we're going to finally see the year over year numbers go negatives. Now, every month I try to give you an overview of kind of what I saw boots on the ground over the last month, and there's one word that defines the last 30 days: struggle. Right now, real estate agents are having a hard time communicating and sharing the value and the real pricing for home sellers. Home sellers are still, as I mentioned earlier, they're still in a little bit of a denial phase. They're looking at the national news thinking it's a good market. Well, today I proved that wrong. We see that prices have basically flatlined here in the Delray Beach area. And right now, both home sellers and agents are just trying to find the right narrative, the right price, the right strategy. Right now, there are more trainings in the industry, the real estate industry, on trying to get agents more armed with data that gets spot on. So when you do a competitive market analysis, that analysis is spot on and can be shown to a home seller. But that's still causing a struggle. How do we know that? Months of supply is still high. Listing inventory is still high. We're not selling these properties. It's lingering on the market. So remember, real estate agents are not in the business of taking your listing. We're in the business of selling your home. In order to do that, we have to price your property right from the get-go. We can't set a price way high thinking it'll just come down, drop to find where the buyers are. This is a strong buyer's market. They have too many options to look at. So we need to look at your house. We need to look at your specific neighborhood, come up with a price per square foot, see what's trending in the area, and come up with a price so when your listing goes live today, it has the best option and opportunity to sell immediately. Welcome to August. This is now the hurricane season's most active 90 days, August, September, October. This is when home sellers get nervous. Why? Demand falls off the cliff. Buyers are not coming down here to Florida during a hurricane season. This is the ultimate season this year for a home buyer to get engaged and be buying over the next 90 days. I'll see you next month.